Mm-mm.
For those joining right now, we're just posting where everyone's calling in from in the chat, and we'll get started in just a few minutes.
Does anybody feel like sharing some history of the origins of this open mic?
Sure. I mean, I'll go into that in the opening a little bit. But this open mic's been running for now 2 years, a little over 2 years actually. I started this program in around April 2018 at the Museum of the African Diaspora, and so it's something that started really small scale in the lobby with just a handful of folks, and it continued on a monthly basis. So it's usually every third Thursday. It's just adapted to this platform of now being digital, and so because there has been so much interest in that, we've been able to expand our reach beyond just the local Bay Area poetry community. Now it's twice a month, every other Thursday. So that's the initial context. And it's exciting to see how many people have been engaging with it now that we're in this kind of virtual space.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to give it maybe like 1 or 2 more minutes for a few more folks to join, and then I will introduce the event. But thank you everyone for joining, and continue if you haven't yet, and you feel like sharing where you're coming in from. We'd really appreciate knowing where everyone's from.
Well, I'm Alain Locke. I'm calling in from Miami, Florida.
Wonderful, welcome.
Thank you.
My name is T. Watts. I was born in San Francisco, but I live in Lucerne, California now.
Good to see you, T.
Good to see you, T.
Good to see you, brother Alan.
Oh, brother T.
Always nice to see you, T.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mac Tate here, calling in from the San Jose area.
Good to see you again.
Tate.
I like that background. I like that background.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and just get us started. We have a pretty full list of open mic readers tonight, so I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but I'm so excited to see everyone virtually here. My name is Nia Mcallister. I am the Visitor Experience Manager at the Museum of the African Diaspora. And as I mentioned earlier, when we were all chatting, this program has been going on since April of 2018, so it's a little bit over 2 years in the running, and it's a program that I'm really proud of having started and really been able to build and create this community space for all of us. And so it's something that began very small with probably like 5 of us, half of us being staff members who happen to enjoy poetry and art. And it's built over the years, and it usually happens every third Thursday of the month. We usually have free admission, and a lot of the other neighboring museums do as well. So it's very lively. So I am missing that energy that we have in person now that we're in this new phase. But I'm very happy that we've been able to adapt in this way and kind of create a new vision for what this looks like. The reach that we've been able to have and have folks calling in from far beyond the Bay Area has been extremely exciting. So I'm super fortunate that we've been able to build this space together. So just a few housekeeping things before we get into it. We have a full open mic lineup. So I'm gonna ask all the readers to please keep your pieces that you're sharing around 3 minutes, whether that's one short piece or one longer piece, two shorter pieces, whatever that may be for you. And so right now, I think most people are muted. So I ask that if you are not the person reading, please keep your microphone muted. Though part of what's exciting about open mics is the energy and the way that we can respond to each other. So I encourage people to, virtually snap or clap and also use the chat box as well. If you feel compelled from lines people are sharing or want to affirm readers, please share those thoughts in the chat. And that's a way that we can, still engage with each other's pieces. So for this evening, I'm also really excited that our feature tonight is Jessica Care Moore, who will be calling in from Detroit. So we're going to be mindful also of the time difference. And so she's going to be joining us midway through the event. So we're going to start the event with the first half of our open mic readers. Welcome Jessica and have her do her feature. And then we'll close out the event with our remaining open mic readers. So I'm pretty sure those are all the main housekeeping things. I'm about to post the lineup in the chat, and then we'll get started. So our first reader for today is Carla Brundage. Welcome to the mic.
Thank you. Thanks, Nia. I woke up this morning and looked at my phone per usual and saw the news of Ahmaud Arbery. And I'm a runner myself. Anyway, I've been thinking about that all day and I decided I would read this piece. I wrote it a while ago. It's called Police on TV. And I actually wrote it in response to like Ice Cube and Ice-T and their new roles on all these TV shows. So here we go. Police on TV are vulnerable. They run across streets, over rooftops, knocking over flowers and people. They charge down alleys, jumping over balconies and downstairs. Their cars jump bridges, fly over other cars, bashing and crashing into others in the name of justice. They leave a wake, overturned collateral damage. They are thoughtful, reflect on the consequences of their actions, inspect all the evidence, second guess, inquire, think critically. Their heroics create an image, the lone cop, the lonely, hard-boiled avenger of justice. Cops on TV make bonds with their victims, have great dialogue, one-liners. In real life, they turn guns on pedestrians. To silence the audience, they say, "Don't snitch." Snitching is not owned by the criminal. Cops have a code, "Don't snitch. If you tell on us, we might get you next." They create their own enemies. Perps on TV are always running between walls, busting out of doors, running right into the welcome arms of their friends, the cops, the caring cop. We watch because we love the chase and the drama. In real life, cops don't talk much. Maybe in their minds they are talking. In their minds, they're having conversations with their victims. But in the streets, they draw guns and repeat the same questions over and over. Have you been drinking? Ma'am, are you hurt? Where's your license? Why are you here? What are you doing? Where's your ID? Don't talk, don't move, don't make me do this to you. Don't show me your hands. Don't make this hard on me. Don't do anything stupid, don't run. Cops on TV have concerned eyebrows, low talking, humor. Cops in real life beat their wives, their sons, party when they're off duty, sell drugs. Cops in real life don't need to get out of the car. They show up. I've never seen a cop run. Not really, not in real life. In real life, cops are not like real people. You don't meet them at parties or at a cafe or in a grocery line. You might see them online or on Match.com. Cops on TV take dramatic stands, resign when they see injustice, confront each other on their misdeeds, acknowledge racism. Cops on TV, Ice-T, LL Cool J, representing hip hop, talk and laugh with their white, Asian, Latino brothers and sisters. Cops on TV fall in love in the workplace, have affairs, but in real life you don't encounter them off duty unless they are your neighbor and you hear their wives calling for the cops late at night, glass shattering in the moonlight, sunglasses covering up their evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I feel like it's important having this space as we go through and find community in different ways. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that poem. Next up to the mic, I would like to invite William Madden. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last week I did one on the coronavirus, and that was a little fun, more of a funner piece. But this week I wrote this one for my wife, and so I just want to do something that kind of it's a romantic touch to it. So this is just called Harmony. And that's pretty much what it is. So you don't need to say or do anything to make me feel more loved by you. You're this perfect ballad. The sound of your voice puts music in my soul. I'm incredibly grateful that I came into cadence with you because you make me daydream about ways I can make you happy. Like when an alto saxophone puts a soft tone in my mind, your music reverberates with me when I'm alone. And even then I contemplate how soon I'll be able to hold your hand, hold you in my arms, hold you like a melody with an infinite duet. I'm on this metatextual path across notes that give me hope. My whole life was a pause, strumming the strings of a concerto. And now your beauty is singing to me as if your song in life is that climatic chord that makes me distance the dissonance. Your song is definitive, and I value your dreams. Beautifully orchestrated, and that resonates with me. Because the sound of your voice in any tone brings me peace. You're the piano, gracefully playing every key. When I'm with you, the world doesn't make a sound, and you're my symphony. Your intelligence, your humor, your support, your humanity. It's a lovely song in my life, and it centers me. It's like a muted trumpet. I need time to appreciate the passion behind it. I realize what an incredible lady you are. When we're apart, every moment of my day is paused because you enter my mind, and I just wish I could hold your hand and talk to you, sing a duet with you. I offer you everything I have, because whatever I own doesn't mean anything to me unless I can share it with you. I'd share every love ballad, slow dance with you to music in our room, in a ballroom, under the stars. There's no way to explain how much I've been humbled by you, but all I can do is show that I love you, and I'll be there for you because you put harmony in my heart. Thank you. Oh, it's my daughter. She made a cameo. Okay. Sit down.
Thank you both. So next up on the mic, we have Mixtate Stroman II. Welcome back.
Oh, okay. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was muted. Appreciate it to be back. Oh, that was a beautiful poem, Will. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. This poem is about my beautiful little baby who keeps moving all about. This is my life. It's called Cuddling with Kimmy. Cuddling with Kimmy. The thoughts flow many. My heart beats full of life and lost in the moments. Her cuteness and calm emblazed upon it. Soft, serene, this caramel-complected little queen. She's a foreshadow of the future. Portraits of the past and all things in between. I watch in wonderment as she sleeps, those pretty little cheeks. Cradled in my arms, nose nestled upon my chest. The feeling of her precious baby breath as she rests is a memory that will always stay with me. As time unfurls, Kimmy, you will always be my precious little baby girl. And that was just something short I wanted to do this time around. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing. That was lovely. Good to see both of you.
Thank you.
So next up, I'd like to invite Sam Brookins. Welcome, friend.
Thank you so much for sharing that. We're both great. So this piece is in response to an article I read in The Atlantic a couple weeks ago called The Black Plague, which is talking about how Black people and communities of color are most vulnerable to COVID-19, and just why, just like a lot of the systemic issues that have led that to be the case, and sort of just reflecting on where we are right now as a country and as a people. What did they do during the Black Plague? I ask. My friend answers. Drink, pray, die. 1. I am 24 years old and already so acquainted with death. When my brother turned 22, we didn't celebrate. He took a swig from a fifth of whiskey and said, if I make it to 25, we'll turn up then. That if burrowed itself in my chest, and I have been carrying it with me ever since. 2. When my grandmother tells me she is tired, what I hear is I am ready. I do not blame her. Existence is exhausting, especially in this skin, and the world is cruel. When I tell my mother about anger, about the hopelessness that threatens to swallow me whole, she pats my hand, tells me she remembers that fire, but that things do not improve, then offers me a platitude about God's grace in the evil of men. 3. I am so tired of seeing my people buried before we're even allowed to live. Replaceable and then essential, immune and then most vulnerable. And didn't we know this all along? Don't we laugh because we feel the reaper's noose at our necks even now? Don't we know that our laughter is proportional to the strength in our limbs and the breath in our lungs? Don't niggers laugh loud and run fast? Don't they always catch us anyway? Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for sharing that piece. It's always lovely hearing your work. Next up to the mic, I'd like to invite T. Watts. Thank you for joining us.
Trying to find that unmute button. How's everyone? All the poets that have gone thus far are great. I've had to change my plans because I thought I had 4 minutes and I was gonna close with a piece that runs about 4 minutes. It's a children's story called The African Birthday Horse, with illustrations by my main brethren, Alain Laird, who's coming up in a couple of minutes. We've been on the planet together since the 5th grade. But since that's a 4-minute piece, I'm just gonna read this poem that was published in Black Creation magazine decades ago when I was a member of the group, the Nairobi Poets. And the name of the poem is 4F. I appeared strung out, as I am, but more so. Even the brothers there for pre-induction physicals regarded me warily. Walking around in yellow silk, juju walking stick in hand, shouting, I am the cosmic sun. Fuck with me and the cosmic father will banish you forever from the kingdom of heaven. It did the trick. 2 army shrinks tried to jam me up the wall, but my stick made them ugly when I shook it in their bewildered faces. They dismissed me then, writing permanently disqualified across my medical report. I walked out into the rain, laughing triumphant tears. They apparently realized I dismissed them a long time ago. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right, next up, we have, let's see. Oh, well, it's so perfect. Alan is the next person up on the mic.
Yay.
Can you hear me okay? Did I mute it? Is the mute off?
Yeah, you're good.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
hear you.
I was listening to my own self and I said, I sound okay. Okay. All right. Well, hey, it's so good to be with you. The material is so wonderful just to hear the expressions. And I'm just going to read a little segment of a book I've been writing upon for about, it's not 8 years almost. And a lot of research. But I'm just going to read a little section of this young guy. It's a song of a young man into manhood. And he's come up from Georgia right now to stay with his aunt in Chicago. And it's in the 1920s, around 1932 in Chicago. And he's gotten in with the fast life and things like that. And he actually saved a gangster's life and he got invited to the big party, a birthday party. And I'm going to read a portion of this one. Bigums, his other guy, both of them dance on the street with the bottle caps and things, but now they've gotten kind of professional. So they got invited to the party. And I'm going to take us into the party just for a moment here. Mr. Ted's reflection upon the mirrored dance floor as he made his way over to the bandstand to chat with Mr. Calloway. Both of them nodding in an agreement as they briefly exchanged words, walking back over where Bigums and I stood pensively waiting for instructions. Mr. Ted gave us a high sign to change into our new tap shoes so we could begin our rehearsal. I felt a supple caress of fine leather on my feet as I tied my new tap shoes on and fastened it with a bow tie knot. Bigums and I strode up onto the hardwood dance floor, our heel to toe, tap melodically clicking to the center stage, while Mr. Calloway stood in readiness in his uplifted baton. This is Cab Calloway, and he's playing his famous song, Happy Feet. With the fourth and final downbeat of 4 from Cab Calloway, Hip Baton, the music started and we simultaneously joined in with a clicking step of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Swinging our synchronized bodies in tandem began signature theme song routine of our street side steppers on 47th and South Park in Chicago. Except this time it was so very different. Instead of dancing to the blue and gold label of a banner recording company played on a portable Victrola, we're dancing to the echoing immense live sounds of Cab Calloway and his orchestra. We concluded our last rehearsed step with our great Northern Railroad choo-choo step, Biggins and I emulating a locomotive chugging down the tracks, our arms and feet synchronized like rotating pistons. Upon the end of our dance routine, we were bestowed with the gift of an applause from Mr. Ted, Sarge, and Cab Calloway and his orchestra, and Bruno, who stood in the rear of the room. And I'll leave us all with that. But it's just a segment, and I wanted a chance just to read a little piece of that. And I'll keep working at it. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. That was lovely hearing that piece. Excited for more in the future. So our next reader up on the mic is Christopher Sims. Welcome back as well.
Thank you. Peace. Appreciate it, Sister Nia and Dee Dee. Always amidst esteemed writers, readers in this particular venue, and it's always a pleasure to be amongst my people. Share my spoken word. This piece is definitely in the vein, and thinking about the Black Lives Matter movement, and all the names that we have to keep mourning and all that business. I wrote a piece maybe even 30 minutes before I hopped on here this evening, but this piece is definitely one of which that I've been sharing as I've been a part of the movement and for justice. I'm going to shout out my main man Roberto Martinez with this T-shirt. We need powerful, empowering poetry that promotes positivity, poetry that encourages people to progress, poetry that gives birth to revolution. We need poetry that puts on black dashikis, black pants, and black boots. Poetry that rises to run through oppressor to oppose its rendering racism or sexism. We need poetry that challenges the boys in blue. Poetry that kicks butt. We sit back and say, hey, get them, poetry. Poetry that gives birth to revolution. Black folk need poetry that gangsters the grime in the ghetto. Poetry that gathers gutless men, racist women, and guiltless children to guide us back to greatness. Poetry that disintegrates crack and evaporates alcohol so we don't continue to fall into destruction. Poetry that gives birth to revolution. This world needs poetry that puts an end to poverty, to starvation, to homelessness, to AIDS, to cancer, to dehumanization.
To start. Vote by mail. Military votes by mail from far away now. Why not here at home? Second one, science. I fly in airplanes, but global warming is fake. I read that online. And then I'm a high school teacher, and like thousands of students across the country, a lot of my seniors are really having a hard time right now just with all this going on. So I wrote my advisory. It's a group of 25 kids that I basically am really close to. I wrote them a couple of poems over a week or two into COVID-19. This one's called Garden of Thoughts. That I would give freedom to the mind to think, some might applaud while others deem it a mistake. Yet if I choose to become a statue and not blink, I should miss all the wonder for which my spirit requires intake. For thought and emotion shared a mysterious link. I saw this truth when the mind was at rest. Thereafter, may the cosmos float my being and not allow me to sink, and I shall promise to do my absolute very best. For when my mind was sound, all else which existed near, far, or around would not keep me down and bound, as serenity within was easy enough to be found. I committed every essence of my being to the act of eternal seeing, where the winds in the trees, a spring crisp, rebirthed breeze, showed me the connection between all things, ocean waves, wind in pine branches, or bird song as they eloquently sing. So cultivate a will made of oak within, and we shall this time see it through to the end. If by chance you forget these deep truths inside, your friends you must seek in which to confide. Our strength comes from one universal shared garden and mind. Thus exist shall I in a cultivated garden of thoughts. I'll see you there when you are ready. If we reap what we sow, then it is inner peace I shall seek, and upon reflection, knowing I have done my best, having sought. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. All right, next up on the mic, we have Angelica Resierdo. Welcome to the mic.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I have a couple poems. This one is called Ode to Immigrant Fathers. My dad waits in the parking lot when I am in grade school, so I don't have to walk a block home. He waits in the parking lot when I am on my first date at the movies with the first of boys who don't care. My dad waits in the parking lot when I am 16 at Victoria's Secret, buying my way into womanhood. He waits in the parking lot of Rutgers while I earn college credit to use at a school far away from him. My dad waits in the parking lot of a train station or airport to receive me from a city I'm contracted to. He waits to hear about a degree or job he doesn't understand. As long as you're happy and work hard, Anak. We wait in the rental car parking lot in SFO. He starts the ignition as I hold back homesick tears. He waits for me to finish crying about new beginnings. And I flip through the radio until we are both humming to the same song. And this one is called Sidewalk Living Room. The first day I saw you, your legs were crossed, all doorknob kneecaps and fan blade shins. You sat outside in the farthest chair of the cafe, trying to blend in with Monday morning. I could learn how to pack a life from you. Cart filled with alleyway bounties, a broom, a rug, a tarp, crushed cans, and a Bible. You assign meaning to abandoned things. I've been misusing the word survive. I use it to describe a flight or a waiting room without ever knowing how to live with my own decay, never knowing how the slats of a bench feel over time.